Hi guys, my name is Avalon and this is Nurse in the Garden channel. So today what I want to review is what my plans are for 2023 spring and summer garden. So as you guys saw in my last video, I pretty much spoke about what didn't work last year as far as just life was concerned and just management of the garden in general. So this year, with all of the failures and successes that I had last year, I want to just kind of put it on here of what I plan on doing for the 2023 garden. So last year I did use this binder. I think it was in one of my earliest videos that I did. I showed this binder and I basically just printed out some resources I found online between botanical interests and this website called myfrugalhome.com actually had some really nice square foot gardening I'll just show you a copy, so I'm trying to explain it. So this is basically what it looks like, and I mapped out everything that I want to grow in my 4 beds. Botanical Interests also has this guide, right, that would tell you when you should be sowing your indoor seeds and when you should be sowing your outdoor seeds, which is really helpful. As I showed you in the front, again, My Frugal Home had this layout again of the square foot method, which I really enjoyed. I do have the square foot method book, but this is a little bit handier just for me to take a quick look and say, oh yes, that's what I need to do, instead of having to flip through an entire book to find something. Botanical Interest also has a calendar, which I marked out every day of the month starting in January. I also wrote down like when my last frost is, and here in New York, well, this year, what is it? The Farmer's Almanac online, you could put in your zip code and find out what your last frost date is. And that gives a determination of when you should start your seeds, depending on how long it grows. And on the seed packet itself actually tells you when you should be starting your seeds, whether if it's 2 weeks before your last frost, 6 weeks before your last frost. It's really helpful. So once you know your last frost date, you know when to start your seeds indoor. And then also I wrote down my first frost, which is November 9th. And it's about 217 days that I have in my growing season. One thing I didn't do last year was pay attention to those numbers. I think it's really helpful to know exactly how many days you have in the growing season, so you know exactly what you can grow in the time that you have. Also with the growing days, it's significant to know how long it takes for a particular vegetable, herb, whatever fruit to reach maturity. And that's one thing I didn't do. Again, I didn't pay attention to the maturity date. So this year I hope to be a little bit more strict with that. So again, I wrote everything down here so I don't forget. Botanical Interest also has like an indoor worksheet. Basically just you could write every variety of whatever vegetable you want to grow, and you can write different comments, whatever you want to record on here. It has different boxes. I just write whatever I want as far as like how long do I need it to be started indoors, and also how well it did. That's usually what I put. I don't really put any other information. So I use this binder, and this binder comes in handy. I carry it with me throughout the house. The last couple of days I have just been taking this binder around with me in the house. Like if I'm just on the bed and in the middle of the night, well, before bed I should say, I just write my thoughts down, or I adjust what I want to plant, where I want to plant. So last year I had 3 beds. This year I'm adding a 4th because basically when I ordered my bed, my garden bed, they're all 4x4s. Each bed is 4x4, but I have 4 of those. Okay, so for me last year I decided to only do 3 beds, but this year I'm adding a 4th. There are some things I want to grow more of, and I need more space for things that I want to plant in ground rather than in my containers. I'm still going to use my containers like I did last year, but this year I want to do a little bit more in ground things. So I need more space. So as I said, I have been adjusting and using this square foot method chart frequently, and I have honestly changed it a few times. I keep looking at it, keep trying to decide what I really want to do, what I want to do in that space. I am also considering getting the that square foot square that you can use, and basically it has holes punch through this square, and it tells you, okay, how many inches do you need to plant for 12, like 12 inches or whatever. I'm not explaining that right. So basically what the square tells you to do is like for instance carrots, right? According to my chart, I believe carrots you can do 16 in a square foot. So that square has holes, has a 16 hole imprint, and you could just poke 16 holes into your soil and plant carrots, and boom, you have it spaced perfectly in that square foot. I could very well eyeball it, but I'd rather be a little bit more precise with certain things, so I'm still considering to get it. We'll see. So as I said, I have been using the square. So one thing I'm really gonna do different this year, as I said in the last video, is really pay attention to my spacing. So with that being said, I really did mark out, like, I want 2 okras, right, spaced out. Then I'm gonna do like a lot of onions right next to that, eggplants, and then down here I'm going to use up this space for beets, parsnips, carrots, onions. So I'm really trying to space things out correctly and follow my grid. Last year I felt like I just got a bit overwhelmed and I just planted things out, and I think that's kind of what prevented some things from growing to its full maturity. Another thing I'm going to do differently, I'm going to do a lot more flowers. So the bed, well, I'll be taking you guys outside eventually. You guys can't really see the backyard right now. Right now, this is my seating tray I just set up, but I'm going to be doing a lot more flowers. I want to just try to have an area where there's just a ton of flowers so I could get a lot more pollinators. I really enjoyed having flowers in the garden last year, so I think I really want to do some more, and I'm going to actually show some of the varieties. I think in this video, maybe my next video, I'll be showing some varieties. So actually, I'm about 10 weeks out from my last frost date, and I need to plant celery, eggplant, and onions, which I've already winter sowed some onions, but I think I'm going to start some inside only because that large frost that we had in the US a few weeks ago really killed the onions. I was actually supposed to bring the onions inside. I totally forgot. So I want to start some inside most likely, so I can have some like insurance basically. What else? 8 to 10 weeks. Let's see, bunching onions. So I'm going to start some of that. And dill. I actually want to grow some dill this year because I want to pickle some cucumbers, so that'll be really fun. So that was an overview on my plan and how I set it up. I don't use like a planner. Like, I have a planner, but I don't use it to tell me exactly. I use my binder. My binder has everything in it. I wrote my calendar dates down, and that's like my planner. I don't use a separate book or anything. That is exactly what I use, and I love using a binder that I can take everything around. Everything is in those I don't think I showed, everything is in those like nice clear sleeves that keeps it protected. So I say use a binder. I love using this. Okay, so something I'm really excited about, I actually went ahead and bought the photo organizer that everybody has now been using as a seed organizer. I mean, look how cute. So I decorated everything with these stickers I found in Michael's. Well, I bought this in Michael's. It was $14.99. It's always on sale. I would say go to Michael's and get it. It's always on sale. You just cannot use a coupon. But I bought it for $14.99. And then there was this like book of stickers that was gardening based. Guys, like, come on. I put stickers all over this thing. So they had different ones, you know, I'm sure you guys seen, they had like the all white, they have one that has like rainbow colors for the cases, and I believe pink, but this one really caught my eye. This kind of like turquoise blue, so pretty. I'm obsessed, I really am. So as I said, you guys have probably seen a ton of people go over this, but I'll go over mine. So of course I put the name, I think everything is backwards so you guys really can't see, but I put the name, oh, that was upside down. I put the name of all the vegetable varieties that I have in these cases. I actually need to make just a few more labels because I did combine some of the seeds into the cases. Like this one says root crops. So I have carrots, beets. I have celery in here, rutabaga, which I don't think I'm gonna grow. Maybe just like 1 or 2 just to see what happens. Parsnips. I have a bunch of these different seeds in here. Flowers. My flower container is really, really full because Dollar Tree, that 4 for $1 is really, really, really tempting. So I tend to buy a lot of seeds from Dollar Tree. And I did actually take advantage of M.I. Gardener. They had a really awesome sale last year where you just got like all of these random seeds for, I think, I'm going to put on the screen what I paid. I forgot how much I paid for like 25 packets, and I got a variety of seeds and some seeds I actually been wanting. So that was really great. So I would say at the end of the year, look for the seed companies and their sales because I'm telling you, get some good deals. I also did a container for saved seeds, so that's really helpful because I did save a bunch of seeds last year and I want to reuse it this year. So one thing that really interested me into doing this year, just to keep even more organized, to not feel overwhelmed, is to organize your seeds by the date that they have to be started. I saw a few people on YouTube do this, so I have inspiration. This is not my idea, but I saw this idea and I just wanted to share it with you guys if you haven't seen it. So I used to store my seeds in a bunch of Ziploc bags, which is not a bad system at all. It's just that it was very cramped and jumbled up where I had it in this clear carrier, but well, this white carrier. I got this from Dollar Tree as well. And it was good, but I really do like this case. This is a lot more compact and neat. So as I said, I used to use the Ziploc bags, but now what I'm going to do, right, I've already labeled a lot of these bags. So this bag actually says sow after first frost and direct sow. So I'm going to be doing some direct sowing. And then as I go through all my bags, I have sow 10 to 12 weeks prior to first frost, 8 to 10 weeks. This one's 6 to 8 weeks. One is 4 to 6 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, right? So as I just said, I'm a little bit late in starting seeds. Technically, it's past like 12 weeks. So now it's like my 10-week-ish mark. So I'm going to start putting in the seeds that start in that particular time frame. So right now I'm going to look for, let's see, my herbs, right? One herb that I want to start is culantro, shadow benny, right? It's like used in Caribbean cooking. It's a really aromatic herb. It is the cousin of cilantro. And this one, I know it takes a very long time to germinate. So I'm actually going to put it in the bag for, why can't I find it? 10 to 12 weeks, right? So I'm gonna open this Ziploc bag. 10 to 12 weeks, I'm putting that in this bag. Lemon balm. I actually have to Google lemon balm, but I think this takes a long time to germinate. So this is gonna be one of the seeds that I maybe put in the 8 to 10 week germination bag. Oregano. Okay, so let's use oregano as an example. So this one recommended to start 6 to 8 weeks before average last frost. So this one right here, I am going to put this particular seed in my 6 to 8 week Ziploc bag. What that does for me now is help me organize my brain. I don't have to go through my whole entire herb container. All I have to do is pick up the Ziploc bag and say, oh, these seeds, I have to start it 10 weeks before my last frost. Perfect. I know exactly when that is. That's now. So I just grab that entire bag. I sow my seeds. Takes the guesswork, takes the time, takes the anxiety out of starting seeds. I think it's such a great tip. Like I literally, my mind was blown. I was like, why didn't I think of that? That was such a good idea. So that's what I'll be doing now, is organizing all of my seed packets. And I'm telling you, like, all. So when I have to start my seeds as the weeks progress, I don't have to think about anything at all. Another thing I want to try to do this year is to do succession sowing. So I want to be more mindful, especially like my squash, my cucumbers, you know, those plants tend to get disease and pests. I want to have those started like as starts, so that if one plant dies, boom, I have another one just to put in the ground to continue sowing. Beans, I want to continue sowing beans once it doesn't get too hot. What else I want to sow? Oh, you know what else I want to do? If there are any cuttings from tomato plants, right? I want to try to maybe propagate a tomato plant. So this year, it's, as I said, it's going to be learning from my failures and my successes from last year, and then trying some new things as well. As I said, I got my seating cart all set up here, so I cannot wait to actually get things started. I actually have it in a different spot than I did last year. So I'm super excited for that. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. I really thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I gave you some sort of inspiration. And I maybe gave you some helpful tips that can help you begin your seed starting and your spring 2023 and your summer 2023 garden. Hopefully you'll be successful. You know, that's what we could hope for. So I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.